Welcome to the review show. My name's Austin, and today I have a special guest, my best friend Evan. Today we're going to be talking about the season finale, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This is a very this is unusual. Um, just I never really liked Disney Star Wars stuff besides Mandalorian and The Force Awakens. And so finally seeing Disney doing something right with something original is kind of insane.
It kind of makes you wonder about if, since they can produce this quality stuff, I'm just kind of curious why they haven't given us quality stuff, especially sequels. But it's a very controversial topic, and that's not what we're here for.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they have proved multiple times they can make good stuff, but then we have stuff like that and The Last Jedi, but Disney doesn't really know. But I think it's because Kathleen Kennedy had hands on the sequels and not any of the TV shows. So everything that's looking good for TV shows for Star Wars, but movies we will have to wait. So today this is going to be a different type of video. Clearly, usually something like this I would have have them come over, but with everything that's going on, safety, of course, sooner or later we could get things back to normal. But for right now, this first part of the video will be non-spoilers. We're just going to go, it'll be a short non-spoiler review. And a big part of this video will be spoilers. So I'll see if I can put the timestamp. If you guys want to just get to the spoilers part, you can do that. I'll see if I can put the timestamp in the video for you guys. But for right now, we're just going to go through, talk about what we liked and disliked, and give our rating. I feel like they could have cut out a big portion of this season.
I feel like they definitely could have cut out a big portion and then added another big portion. Just feels like something was really missing, and some things were just really unnecessary.
I mean, like, it felt like the first half of the season they weren't really trying. And the last 4 episodes is that where they went all out. They brought, from what I think, they brought back George Lucas. I think he wrote or helped with the last 4 episodes.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
so they actually put in more efforts in the final 4 episodes, and you can tell that the animation looked completely different from the other animation before those 4 episodes. So
Mm-hmm. I think what surprised me most was their selection of the 3 arcs that we got in season 7, just mainly because we had so many questions to ask. And we did get some in the final arc, but this is spoiler free. But honestly, the middle arc just felt like a complete joke to me. It was just a complete joke to everyone that loved Clone Wars, and to be honest, I don't know why they added that in there when we could have had another storyline about Ahsoka that could have been way better.
There was one episode in the middle of the season, it was just a big circle. It made no sense. There was one part at the beginning of the episode they were in prison, and next at the end they're back in prison. It's like, what was the whole point of that episode exactly?
I mean,
besides
yeah.
some backstory that doesn't really get involved in, and doesn't add anything to.
Yeah, I mean, I really just questioned Disney as to why they switched out the character, because in the unfinished episodes that they had released, that Dave Filoni had released, it had actually been another love interest for Ahsoka Tano, but they replaced it with the Martez sisters. I think they just did that to
make it easy.
And I don't think they wanted to make things too complicated, but it really just distracted us.
If they wanted to do that, that's fine. If it had to be a long season, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more.
Yeah, I feel like
us.
we wouldn't have been so mad if it was like 20 episodes, but 12 episodes, you got to make everything count. And that's not what they did here.
No. I mean, even in the first part of the season, no spoilers, but there's this character that I feel like they should have done something with. But this character and characters, let's say,
Mhm.
like the squad, they never return after these episodes. They never show up. They get mentioned. That one character gets mentioned in one later episode when everything starts to go downhill. But but that character never shows up.
Yeah.
So it's like, so what was the point of him? And he, like, okay, if we look at the Clone Wars and the Rebels, it's really hard not to, because the Rebels became and ended before this season came and ended.
Yeah.
So if I'm fine with you trying to connect with everything, but now you just create even more plot holes trying to connect with Rebels.
And that's another thing that I really do not like is just Disney's choice to have Rebels come out before finishing Clone Wars, just because we had already known where our heroes were going to end up, and we already know how they get there. We just didn't know what happens in those during Order 66. Trying not to spoil anything, but
I mean, they mentioned that
yeah.
about it, so it's fine. But yeah, like that's another thing. If they were planning, when did they announce this? 2017. They announced Clone Wars coming back,
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
because it got canceled in 2014. Say if it did get called to come back in 2017, that's 3 years separate. If you were just gonna do that, you might as well let George Lucas finish off what he had, and it might have even been better than this season. The last 4 episodes definitely saved this season a lot for me.
Yeah, it really did. It
If
kind of brought
without
the
those
whole
four,
season together.
yeah, without those 4 episodes, this would have been easily a C- or a B-,
Oh, yeah.
like between there. And so, but like that's also pisses me off that Disney just wanted more money. That Disney
Uh-huh.
just wanted more money. It's like, okay, guys, the Rise of Skywalker isn't doing too well. Yeah, just bring back Clone Wars. That's fine. It's okay. Like, and I mean, you have great potential. You can you can hire a bunch of great guys. You can bring back George Lucas, even though his decisions in the prequels weren't the greatest.
Yeah. Going back into what you're saying, I think Dave Filoni and George Lucas had this big dream with Clone Wars, and honestly, with the amount of material that Dave Filoni had, he had to squish it all into. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. With all the material that he had to squish it into 12 episodes, and it's just not enough for what he needed to do. And they just completely wasted 4 of those episodes on an arc that we didn't even need.
yeah. It feels like Disney was rushing. Disney's
Yeah.
like, okay, we have a big gap in Star Wars. We're not after 2019 and 2020. There's not going to be any more Star Wars for a while. The Kenobi series, that's not going to happen for a while.
But
That was originally supposed to be a movie.
we're actually
But
gonna get Mandalorian season 2 in the fall, I think, if
yeah,
that's not impacted by the coronavirus.
well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. After 2020,
Yeah, after 2020.
there's not going to be any Star Wars stuff.
Mhm.
And so Disney's like, okay, we just got to shove everything in one year. You don't have to do that. If you need to take a year off, that's fine, because we can handle that. And doesn't you don't have to shove all Star Wars into 1 year. Give us a breather. The
Mhm.
Rise of Skywalker just ended the Skywalker saga. Now we have
Yeah.
another heir ending, and that ended a lot better than Rise of Skywalker, but it's not. But it still has its downfall. The downfall is that you rushed. The downfall is that you didn't take your time, and it felt like the first half of this season was like afterthought, and that the last part of the
Yeah.
season was the first thing that they were coming up with. And Disney's like, no, we need more episodes. And Dave Filoni's like, uh, uh, well, I mean, we have all this stuff in the back room. We can use that, I guess. It's like, because the first half of this episode was thrown away ideas by George Lucas for his original final season. For the Bad Batch, they're useless. They don't come back up. Well, I think
Well,
isn't one character from the Bad Batch in Rebels? Because I swear one of them is, or like two of them.
I don't know. I don't think so. I've only seen a couple seasons of Rebels, so.
One of them sound familiar and looked familiar, but they're pointless. They're only to move the plot for Rex, to give Rex some purpose a little bit, because it's a spoiler for the reason why Rex is with them, so I can't really say that much.
I kind of disagree with you on the Bad Batch and how they're only there to move the plot along. I mean, Dave Filoni had talked about them before, and we knew we were going to get episodes about them. And I think they're just a really cool.
I mean, yeah, well, they're a cool dynamic. I'll give that. But what do they add to this season? Nothing really. They don't really
That's
add
true.
anything.
Then come back into the last arc. I had heard rumors that they were going to come back, but they weren't in there, and I'm kind of happy because it just focused on Ahsoka and Rex, and I'm glad it focused on them.
Hmm. Well, I think we talked about as much as we could without spoiling. If let's move into final verdicts.
So I would probably give the Bad Batch probably a B plus, just because it felt pretty perfectly paced, and the action scenes were really, really cool. It just felt like, I don't know, I don't know why I don't like it super. It's really, there's just something missing, you know?
Mhm. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. It's just this season is a mixed bag, but what really saved me is the final four. If what they should have done is made this a really short season and just show us the final four episodes. I mean, you could have done and if you need to make them a little bit longer, give us an out to like 40 minutes at least, so to give us something. So yeah, that's a big portion of this season that saved me. So I'm going to give Star Wars The Clone Wars season 7 a B plus because of that big part, and the animation was great, the action was great, so that's what big points are coming around to it. And there was cool ideas. There was cool ideas that they intimated, but they didn't really go through with, and that's why I'm not giving it a higher grade than that. And that middle part of the season also really messed it up. And so if they give us a whole entire story without any hiccups, this would have been easily A plus. Easily, this would have been the best Star Wars season ever. The only best one I could think of that's remotely any good is season 4. It's the darkest season out of all of them, and it's the most character arc in any of the seasons. So, but yeah, like it's a good episode. It's a good season. This season at the end made me tear up, and so I you can't ask for any more. It's what it is. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
I guess in total, I would give the entire season of the Clone Wars an A minus, just because
Amen.
the last story just felt so real and so authentic, and it really just pretty much wrapped up everything that the Clone Wars was about, and it was really humanizing the clones and the soldiers behind the Clone Wars, and it really gave you a new perspective, and it just kind of recapped all of that, and it gave it to you with amazing acting, amazing music, amazing action, and just really answering questions that we had concerning Rex and Ahsoka, and it aligned with Revenge of the Sith so well, and it was just so pleasing to watch because it was connecting to everything with Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I mean.